Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now. Our guest today, Andrew Sorrell. He joins us to have a conversation about something that's probably going to surprise you. Andrew Sorrell was the Trump guy in 2020, and I will tell you, now he has an endorsement in the election for 2024 in the Republican primary. He's the state auditor. He is an elected official in Alabama. Go ahead, Andrew Sorrell. Who are you endorsing in the primary here for the Republican nomination of president in 2024?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and endorse Ron DeSantis for 2024 because I think he is the Republicans' best chance of winning back the presidency. I think he has the least baggage. I think he's the most principled guy. He's done a fantastic job in Florida, and I'm going to enthusiastically offer my support for Ron DeSantis. I believe I'm the first elected official in Alabama to do so, but I know that I won't be the last.
Okay, so you are the first. I don't think there's any question about that. I guess the only question I have about this is why right now? Why endorse anyone in this race right now? It seems to be up in the air.
Well, I think we need to build momentum for Ron DeSantis because he has the disadvantage of still having to be governor. He can't be out, announcing for president and campaigning right now. He still has to do his job as governor. Very similar when I was running for state auditor, I was still in the legislature, and it was a big disadvantage for me because I had to be in Montgomery for 3.5 months, doing my job as a legislator. So DeSantis has got to finish up this session in Florida, and I don't have any inside information on if or when he's going to announce. I'm trying to build momentum. So I hope that the DeSantis campaign notices, hey, in Alabama, we've got some support. And I think if we have enough people come out and start saying, hey, I'm for DeSantis too. Andrew's right. DeSantis is going to win in 2024. I hope that will motivate DeSantis to actually go ahead and get into the race as soon as possible.
Now, what are you going to say to the people who might suggest that this is somewhat disloyal to the current or to the former president, Donald Trump? You, as I said before, not only endorsed him, but you were the guy. You led the delegation. Explain this to me.
It is going to raise some eyebrows that you have a former Trump delegation chairman now supporting Ron DeSantis. But my position is we don't need to be loyal to people. We need to be loyal to the party, loyal to the principles of the party. I want to see everything in the Alabama Republican Party and in the RNC national platform. I want to see those things implemented into public policy. So the question we have to ask ourselves is two-part. Number one, who is principled? And number two, who is viable? Because you've got to have both. You can have somebody who's right on all the issues, but they could never win an election. That makes for a terrible candidate. And you can have somebody who's very electable, but they're terrible on the issues. Well, you don't want them either. So you got to strike the right balance of electability with principled leadership. And Ron DeSantis is literally the perfect blend of both. Who can argue that Ron DeSantis has not been America's most effective governor the last 4 years, taking a swing state of Florida from winning it by 35,000 votes, 0.3%, to winning it by 19%. Largest margin of victory in Florida's history, largest vote getter in Florida history. Nobody can argue with that. He's very, very electable. And who can argue that he's not principled? I mean, he is through and through a conservative. And he's been very effective at fighting the woke mob in Florida, fighting the woke corporations, implementing school choice. He's out there advocating for Florida to become the 26th constitutional carry state. That would give us a majority of states in America that would be constitutional carry. I'm just so excited about everything that DeSantis brings to the table, not to mention the fact that he's 44 years old. I mean, he could be president at 46. We're going to have a 44, 45-year-old running against an 82-year-old Joe Biden. That's a really, really good look for the Republican Party.
The electability argument, I think, is one that DeSantis supporters should be making. It's one that I agree with. I think Donald Trump obviously fires up independents against him, fires up liberals to come out against him, fires up the media to come out against him. But the argument that you will hear from Trump supporters is that this is his turn. He was robbed in 2020. He needs to go back and finish what he started. Some will say he needs to go back and finish what he started, and DeSantis can be next. What do you say to those people?
Well, I think we did have some issues with the 2020 election, some legitimate issues that I still have, great election integrity concerns about. But that being said, we've got to look to the future. And we've got to say who is our best candidate to win in 2024. And I really believe that DeSantis is more likely to beat Joe Biden than Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, unfortunately, as you correctly just noted, turns out people to vote against him. We had record-breaking turnout for Trump in 2020, but we also had record-breaking turnout for the Democrats, and they turned out more than we did, and that really, really hurt us. So although Trump got millions more votes, the Democrats turned out many millions more people too. The Democrats don't like Ron DeSantis, but they loathe Donald Trump. And Trump, I believe, will drag down other Republicans on the ballot, people, gubernatorial races, U.S. Senate races, Congress, all the way down to the state house and dog catcher. I believe Trump could be a drag on some of those candidates. Whereas DeSantis, his rising boat is lifting the tide in Florida. I mean, he swept on his popularity. The Florida Republican Party had a gigantic red wave in 2022, lifted the legislature, both chambers, to super majorities. I mean, they're winning everything in Florida. So I think for the good of the Republican Party overall, DeSantis should be the nominee.
Last question here. We talked about electability, we talked about this, but why you? You're the state auditor of Alabama. Why come out and do this? Why jump in front of this firing line that you're about to run into?
I'm not too worried about whether or not this hurts me or helps me politically. I just want to do the right thing. And I know, the state auditor. I mean, I'm a statewide official, but I realize I'm not the biggest fish in the sea out there. But I just want to get the ball rolling, and I hope other people come out and start saying, yes, I agree with Andrew. Ron DeSantis is the best choice for president. I hope we start seeing legislators. I hope other statewide officials. I hope city councilmen start coming out, because they're voices in their community. And I hope that me coming out with an endorsement, my goal here is to spark debate in Alabama. I want to start sparking conversations around the water cooler. Hey, did you hear the state auditor came out and supported DeSantis? Wasn't he a Trump guy too, 4 years ago? And I hope that people start talking about why. And when they investigate DeSantis and learn more about him, I think you're going to see the polling numbers start moving. And I truly believe Ron DeSantis will win the state of Alabama in 2024.
There we go. State Auditor Andrew Sorrell, former state representative, endorsing Ron DeSantis for president in 2024 in the GOP primary. You'll see a lot of this story over the next couple of days.